Very warm welcome to all our parents. Welcome to the parents briefing for P3 and P4 level this afternoon. We shall begin the program for our level briefing. We'll start off with the welcome address by school leader, followed by briefing by assistant year head middle primary, briefing by year head middle primary, and briefing by form and co-form teachers. I will now invite Mr. Rani, our Vice Principal, to address everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to all parents for taking the time and joining us for our parent briefing today. Okay, without further ado, let me introduce my staff. Okay, myself, I'm one of the Vice Principal for Teaching and Learning under Academic. Okay, of course, our Principal, Mrs. Pei Wong Wei Yong. Okay, it's our school principal that provides the direction, and working together with my colleague, another VP academic, I would like to introduce Miss Ng Pei San, and she has just joined us this year. Next slide, please. Our key personnel, we are supported by 3 year heads. Lower primary will be Miss Rosemary Wong, and in the middle primary, that I've just addressed you just now, is our Miss Po Mei Cheng. Our upper primary, Mr. Eric Chia, and our assistant year head, also supporting Miss Po, is Miss Nur Hafiza, who has also joined us this year. Next slide, please. Okay, followed by our SSD, Mrs. Chong, HOD Student Management, Mr. Lee, Madam Hindon, our HOD CC, and Madam Lloyd, our HOD ICT. The rest of our HODs for English, Madam Aniza, Maths, Mr. Heng, Science, Mrs. Leong, Mother Tongue, Ms. Tay, and for PE and Aesthetic, Mr. Hassan. Supported by our level head, okay, Mrs. Fan for English, Ms. Lee for Maths, Mr. So for Mother Tongue, Ms. Wee for CC, and Mr. Ikwan for PE. We are also supported by our senior teachers, who are Dr. Chin for English, Mrs. Vasanti, ST for Maths, and a new addition to our teacher leaders, Mrs. Teo for Science. All our students are also supported by our school counselor, Ms. Pua, our 2 SNOs, Mrs. Lau and Mrs. Xia, and our student welfare officer, Mr. Fong. I would like to recap. I think for some of you, you have been joining us annually, but I think it's good for us to recap. And we also like to take this opportunity to also share our new vision, okay, new directions that we have set to for our staff, our students, so as in line in terms of the current context of the expectation of developing our students to be future learners. Our vision as of this year is lifelong learners, leaders of character. Okay, we hope to meaningfully pick our students' interest in learning, encourage them to be lifelong learners. We also, through our character building, leadership development, we hope that they will be leaders of character. Next slide, please. Our mission is still the same, which is focusing on building character, enriching our students' life, and stretching the potential of all our students. The core values, we still feel that is still relevant in terms of development of our students, which is the perseverance, respect, integrity, diligence, and empathy. School motto, no change, is still wisdom and courage. Next slide, please. And in terms of whatever we plan for our students, this is our focus outcome for all our students. We want them to be engaged learners, resilient learners, leaders of character, and most importantly, caring citizens. And to unpack the different outcomes, I will not go through here, but you can see in terms of engaged learner, what we hope that for each student to achieve. Similarly, for resilient learners, being leaders of character, and also being a caring citizen. Next, in the area of safety and administration, these are some gentle reminders. We see all our parents as partners, and we do hope that we get your support in ensuring the safety of our students and your child in our school. Firstly, the thermometer. We will still do termly temperature taking, and to ensure that we are always prepared in case we need to revert back to our daily temperature taking. So please help us ensure that your children's thermometers are in working condition. In terms of their personal health, if any of your child is unwell, please bring them to see a doctor. And if the doctors have given them, for example, 3 days MC, please make sure that they rest at home for the 3 days, follow doctor's advice, and avoid sending your child earlier than what in terms of the duration of the MC. Okay, do advise your child to, this is our social responsibility, put on a mask if he's coughing or still sneezing even after the MC is over. Okay, and of course, most importantly now that we need to update all of you from this year onwards. We have revert to using student digital form to get all of you to help us fill up all the necessary information. Most importantly, updates in the medical condition of your child, if any. Okay, but in case I know most of you all have updated the data by end of January. Okay, but if in maybe in May, June, July, and so on throughout this year, if there's any changes or updates in your child's medical condition, please update the student digital form. Okay, you can later liaise with the form teacher. And we need another favor from all of you. Please also alert the form teacher that is an update in your child's medical condition. Because if you key into the system, we may not get the alert. We will also need you all to just inform our form teachers of any updates too. Okay, thank you. Next. Thank you to all of you all. I think most of our parents here are on Parents Gateway. Please do read the messages that have been we are sending either by the school or by MOE, so that we do hope that you can respond quickly, so that we can proceed with our programs and so on. Okay. In terms of road safety, I know some of our parents are allowing your child to cycle to school. Okay, we advise that students who cycle to school should be accompanied by adults. Again, we are looking into the safety. Okay, and we request parents to register via the form SG in the school website, or scan the QR code if you wish for your child to cycle to school, and for them to park their bicycle in the school premises. We also appeal to our parents who drive in the morning to send your child. Please drive carefully, reduce your vehicle speed, stay alert for any pedestrian crossing in the school zone. Please cooperate with my staff who are the traffic marshals, and please let your child alight only at the designated drop-off point. Yeah, thank you. For your child, or if you are accompanying your child to school, please, we have to be role model as parents and so on. We have to role model in advising them to use the zebra crossing, okay, instead of jaywalking outside the school, because it's very dangerous. Cars are coming in and going out. Yeah. Next. In terms of other areas of homeschool partnership, we really hope that we can partner you in your child's development journey in terms of knowing your child, developing them, and keeping them in touch with the school. Okay, of course, as mentioned just now, in terms of our student vision outcomes, at the end, we want to encourage joy of learning by our students. Okay, we hope, I think the message here, we do not want to overemphasize academic performance. Of course, good academic performance is important, but we don't want to focus on that too. We are looking at the holistic development of your child. So we also want to focus, therefore, we want to focus on your child's learning journey with us, rather than also, most importantly, we also try not to compare them with others. Next. So with this focus, okay, we do hope that your child will have more time and space to deepen their learning, enjoy the subjects that they're learning, okay, and most importantly, develop the disposition for lifelong learning. We want to help enhance your child's mental and physical well-being, okay, by guiding them in terms of time management, follow routines, and allowing them to learn to solve their problems, which also we hope that this will be the same messaging coming from all our parents. Next, we appeal from you for your understanding. I think some of you will send emails to the school, through the form teachers or direct to the office. We ask for your patience, okay, for any email correspondence. We use this 3/7/21 guideline. 3 days, we will try to reply to you within the 3 days. Of course, if we have the response immediately, we will respond in the email. But for some issues that may require further investigation, okay, we may send you a holding reply within the 3 days, but give us more time to respond back to you. Next. We also ask for your understanding. We have, I think we have mentioned this too in our first parents letter yearly, to protect our teachers' personal time. Please try not to, I'm not sure if you do have any of our teachers' personal number and so on. Please protect their personal time, not to message them after school hours. Contact them only during school hours, please. And please focus on leveraging on emails or school phone if you have any messages or issues that you want to clarify with the teacher. At the same time, we would like to promote this. We like to encourage all of you to be part of our parent support group if you have that time to be our partners. So we do hope, being a PSG member, you can also support us in adding the value in terms of the education of your child, okay, through your involvement in school programs and activities, because we see this as positive partnership between you and the school, so that our school will be more vibrant, and they can see and they are happy and they are proud to see their parents participating in the school activities too. Next. So do join our PSG. Yeah. Again, we do hope that if you have the time, and of course, I believe all of us have our talents and so on. So if you can volunteer your expertise, talents, your interests, that will be good, so that we can make our program more interesting. Okay, maybe innovative with new ideas from our parents. And at the same time, we can also brainstorm and contribute constructive feedback and ideas to our program. Next. Now I will thank you for your attention in terms of what I have shared. Now I will hand over to Ms. Noh Hafiza, our assistant year head, for the rest of the info to all of you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Mr. Rani. I will now take everyone through our Primary 3 and Primary 4 level programs which have resumed. After almost 3 years of e-activities and school celebrations being held over Zoom, restrictions on group sizes and sitting apart from each other, the easing of SMMs brought back many of the familiar school activities, much to our students' delights. So here's some programs that we have resumed for our P3 and P4 students: the house practice, the co-curricular activities, English enrichment programs, and also applied learning program. You may have heard, from your children about the excitement during the house practice on 17 January. The house practice is actually a platform to engage our students with a myriad of activities in a competitive and fun manner to earn house points. So you can see on that day, the students were fully participative during the games, cheering together for their houses. Okay, so next will be our CCAs. Since mid last year, our students have also resumed face-to-face CCAs. Our CCAs are held on Tuesday and Friday. The 2-hour session helped our students to develop their interests and talents while developing their skills, values, and social emotional competencies. So for parents of Primary 3 students, as this is the first year for the students trying out the CCAs, do encourage them and talk to them to find out how they are coping in their CCAs. We can see on the next slide more photographs taken during CCAs. We have CCAs in 4 categories: sports and games, performing arts, uniform groups, and clubs and societies. You may visit our school website to find out more about these CCAs. Okay, we can see on the slide now some photographs taken during the Singapore Youth Festival, also commonly known as SYF. So since 1966, SYF has been a biennial event for primary schools organized by the Ministry of Education to celebrate the vitality of our youth and their diverse art talents. In light of the COVID-19 situation, the SYF has actually been held virtually. So fortunately for our students, last year, the live performance resumed. So here's some pictures of our students in Angklong performed at SOTA last 19 July, and also our modern dancers who performed at Gateway Theatre on 6 July. Okay, National School Games for sports CCAs have also resumed. During this game, our students will have a chance to experience sports at a competitive level, preparing them psychologically for future sporting endeavors. So parents, if your child is playing in the school games, do encourage them and ensure that they have sufficient rest before and after the game. I will now move on to the Active Youth Program, which is a collaboration between a paying primary PE department and Health Promotion Board. So equally crucial in contributing to a child's positive schooling experience is their well-being. Hence, our PE department has collaborated with HPB to bring forth the Active Youth Program. So with the standing down of SMMs, our students are able to resume the physical activities under this program and engage in a regular contemporary workout sessions. So in these programs, our students will try out different activities such as cardio, yoga lattes, aerobics, Zumba, captain's ball, where they get to learn new skills. So don't worry, intensity will remain at beginner level for all sessions. For some students who require more support, they will be involved in this program for 12 sessions every Friday from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. I will now move on to our English enrichment program. Okay, so our English enrichment program has also resumed this term, and these are some photographs taken over the past few weeks. Our P3 and P4 students had an exciting time learning debate skills and readers' theatre during this session. As you can see from the photographs, the students were enjoying themselves during the learning activities. Okay, we can see more pictures here of them rehearsing the scripts. Okay, and from mid last year, we have also exposed our students back to greenery and nature. So our students have been taught that the fight to reduce waste footprint starts with them. Okay, so for the food that they waste, the water and energy needed to grow, harvest, and transport the food is wasted. So living sustainably means working towards zero food waste and going wasteless as much as possible. With this focus of food security and food sustainability in mind, our primary 3 students showed their planting skills by setting vegetable pot. So parents, if you do have opportunity at home, do get your child involved in planting so that they can put some of these skills to practice and spend quality time with the family away from electronic diversions. And each time you see your child putting away the vegetables during their meals, right, do remind them of the long process to harvest the vegetable and the importance of reducing food waste footprint. Before I pass the time to our year head, Ms. Po, I'm also delighted to share with all parents on the activities planned for this year. We would be having a science experiential learning, track and field meet, and SSG learning journey for our P3 and P4 students. This term, our primary 4 students will also be going to St. Nicholas Girls' Schools for a half-day school experience program. We will send you the information and consent forms via Parents Gateway, so please keep a lookout. Your prompt reply is very much appreciated. Okay, so with that, I will now pass over the time to Ms. Po.
Thank you, Ms. Hafiza. So parents, you can see that with the resumption of level programs, learning at school has indeed become a lot more exciting. Okay, so I'm doing the year head address. I'm Ms. Po here, and these are the level methods that I'll be taking you through. First, I'll start off with learning with technology, then followed by removal of SA1 examinations, higher mother tongue for P3 and P4, subject-based spending for P4, and of course, meet the form and co-form teachers. All right. Okay, first off, we'll start with the learning with technology. Okay, why the emphasis on learning with technology? While schools provide the foundational skills such as reading, writing, and numeracy, with the rapid technological development, it's important that schools also provide a platform to help our children to acquire suitable ICT skills so as to increase their ability in self-directed learning, develop their 21st century competencies, raise their awareness of data security, cyber wellness, and of course, eventually helping them to attain a competitive edge in the global market. Okay, so in Paying Primary School, we aim to develop confident digital learners. Okay, develop every child into a confident digital user equipped with the data CC skills. Nurture self-directed learners who have digital literacy. Develop engaged learners who are responsible cyber citizens. And nurture resilient students who demonstrate lifelong learning attributes. One of our approaches is to empower the students' self-directed learning by providing seamless access and technologically enhanced learning environment so that we can extend their learning beyond the classroom. And we also, in our school, we also have computer labs, iPad cards, and laptop cards to provide students opportunities to apply self-directedness and self-management through our ICT-infused lesson. So you can see the students during their learning in the computer lab in the photograph. Okay, to enhance personalization of students' learning experience in school and beyond school, an AL-enabled student learning space, SLS, was developed by the ministry to track and monitor students' learning. The student learning space is one of MOE's key initiatives to transform and enhance the learning experience of all Singapore students through the use of meaningful ICT tools. It's an online learning portal which provides access to quality curriculum-aligned resources in major subjects from primary to pre-U level, aiming to develop the 21st century competencies in our students through self-directed learning and collaborative learning. These are some of the ICT programs tailored to cater to the needs of students. The ICT-infused lessons aims to develop students' ICT skills. Our teachers will infuse the use of devices and apps in their lesson design to enhance teaching and learning. So for P3 and P4 students, they will also be acquiring basic coding skills in our Code for Fun program. So through the Code for Fun program, we aim to equip our P3 and P4 students with fundamental ICT skills and to help them develop an appreciation of computational thinking and coding concepts. So selected P3 and P4 students will also go through the ICT and AV Monitor leadership training, where they will learn how to manage the ICT equipment in the classroom and assist their teachers with this. Okay, so for P2 to P6 students, they can log into the school laptop, SLS account, and students' icon account using only their MIMS account as shown in the table. So you can see the format of the MIMS ID and password. Okay, here are some useful tips to ensure a smooth login with their accounts in school. So do advise your child to log out of their accounts after every use, and refrain from saving your child's Google account username and password in your home devices to ensure a smooth login into the school laptops. If your child does not log out of the account after using, he or she may not be able to log into their Google account using the school device. And the account will also be locked after multiple login attempts. Okay, parents play a key role in their children's growth. To help their child stay safe and have positive experiences online, you can actually activate parental controls on your home devices. So if your child is using an Android phone or iPhone, you may want to consider using free screen time apps from Google and Apple, such as Family Link or Apple Screen Time, to monitor their online activities. You may also consider using Microsoft Family Safety app to monitor your child's computer screen time. Okay, you can also set ground rules for internet use, navigate the internet together with them to understand their usage, and do allow independent use of computing devices such as laptop, computer device, iPad to access SLS, Google Classroom for self-directed learning. Okay, trust your child that he or she is learning online for better subject mastery. Okay, I will now move on to the removal of SA1 examination. So for P3 and P4 students, the weighted examination and end of year exam details are shown below. So for both P3 and P4, we have WA1 in term 1 and it's 10%, WA2 in term 2, 15%, WA3 in term 3, 15%, and finally end of year in term 4 at 60%. Okay, next will be on the higher mother tongue language for P3, P4 level. Okay, higher mother tongue language has been officially offered at P5 and P6 since 1992 for students who showed strong proficiency and interest in mother tongue language. And to further strengthen the learning of MTL from an early age, primary schools can offer HMTL across 3 official MTLs from P3 onwards starting 2022. It is designed to enthuse P3 and P4 students who demonstrate the ability and interest to develop higher levels of MTL language proficiency and knowledge. So for P3 entry, the school will use a set of qualitative descriptors based on the P2 mother tongue languages learning outcomes to determine students' MTL proficiency. Students offering HMTL at P3 and P4 should be proficient in their oracy skills and demonstrate strong foundation for their literary skills. So what is the criteria? We are looking at evidence of students' performance throughout the year. It gathered information about students learning through checkpoints, such as ongoing assessments or alternative assessments, to further provide information on their learning progress and inclination. We also look at teachers' feedback and observations. So to cover a whole range of performance, additional information about students' learning can be gathered from class discussion, their classwork, and also homework. So for P4 entry, schools will also take a similar approach in addition to the P3 end of year examinations. So here are some key features of our P3 and P4 higher mother tongue language curriculum. It's built on existing MTL curriculum and sustain students' interest and deepen their knowledge in their MTL. Enhance reading and writing skills, expose students to age-appropriate literary texts. So literary-based text, you can see an incorporation of age-appropriate literary-based text to provide an enjoyable early learning experience to ethnic literature. Exposure to higher-order thinking exercises during the lesson also help to enhance their reasoning skills by eliciting their response during classroom activities and discussions. So construction also helps in construction of new knowledge by making meaningful connections between text and also students' life. Okay, during the lesson, they also have creative and fun-filled activities and games to learn language and also cultural knowledge. And this is to sustain their interest and also extend their knowledge. Okay, so how are the lessons carried out for HMTL at P3 and P4 level? MOE recommends 2 additional periods per week for higher Chinese language. So for higher Chinese language, the textbook includes literary-based text, which would require 2 additional periods per week outside curriculum time to provide an enjoyable learning experience to ethnic literature and cultural knowledge. For higher Malay language or higher Tamil language at P3 and P4 level, the school will adopt a differentiated instruction in the mixed ability class during the curriculum time. So how will the assessment look like for higher mother tongue language at P3 and P4 level? Higher mother tongue language at P3 and P4 level will be reflected as a non-weighted assessment. So non-weighted assessment refers to assessments where the scores will not form part of the computation of the student's overall results in a subject for the year. There will be no changes in the major exams. So the school will also indicate in your child's progress in HMTL in the holistic development profile. So can my child still offer higher mother tongue language at upper primary level if he or she did not offer it at P3 and P4 level, meaning if you're not taking higher mother tongue at the moment? So your child could still offer HMTL at P5 and P6 level when they build stronger proficiency and interest. The offering of HMTL from P3 to P5 is a parental option, meaning your parents will be able to opt for the language for their child, whereas the offering of HMTL at P6 is a school-based decision. We are strongly encouraged to discuss with the school which course best suits the need of the child. So I'll cover this more in the SVB briefing in a while. If my child decides to discontinue with higher mother tongue language in P3 or P4, will they be allowed to opt out or to drop out? Okay, to truly benefit from the HMTL curriculum at P3, your child should offer HMTL for at least 2 years to ascertain their ability to cope with it. If the child really finds difficulty coping, they can drop the HMTL anytime. Okay, I will now touch on the SBB for P4, that is subject-based spending. I think a lot of parents will be interested in this topic. Okay, on to subject-based spending. Subject-based spending is also known as SBB and it was introduced in 2008. So this is the rationale for subject-based spending. We believe that every child is unique and has different aptitudes, capabilities, and talents. SBB allows greater flexibility for students to take subjects at different levels depending on their aptitudes and abilities in these subjects. So we recognize that every child is unique, and we also believe in providing a balanced education that caters to their different abilities of each child and prepare them for life. Okay, at the end of primary 4, your child sits for the school-based examination. And based on the results, school will recommend a subject combination. Taking the school recommendation into consideration, parents then fill out an option form indicating their preferred combination for the subjects. So at primary 5, your child will sit for the exam based on the subject combination chosen by you. So at the end of primary 5, the school will, based on the result, the school will decide on the subject combination for primary 6. And that means whether they should continue with the current subject combination that you're taking at P5. So at primary 6, your child sits for exam based on the subject combination decided by the school. Okay, now we'll take a closer look at what happens at the end of primary 5. So you can see from the screen and what's mentioned earlier, based on the overall result at the end of primary 5, the school will decide on the subject combination that is in the best interest of your child. So if they take standard subjects and has difficulty coping, the school may allow the child to take one or more subjects at foundation level at primary 6. So if your child takes standard subjects at primary 5 and have difficulty coping, we may recommend taking subjects at the foundation level. Okay, taking subjects at the foundation level is not a disadvantage for your child. It will help them to build the fundamentals for the subject and better prepare them for the progression to secondary school. Okay, if your child takes standard subject and does not have difficulty coping, then the school will allow him or her to continue with the same subject combination in primary 6. So what happens at primary 6? At primary 6, if your child takes subject combination, your child takes a subject combination decided by the school. And at the end of primary 6, your child will sit for the primary school leaving examination. Okay, an important point to note is that parents can only exercise their option once at the end of primary 4. Subject combination from primary 5 to primary 6 will be determined by the school in the best interest of the child. And of course, the subject combination discussion will be done together with you, okay, and the teachers. All right, now you see the guideline for higher mother tongue language. Higher mother tongue language is offered at the end of primary 4. So at the end of primary 4, the school will recommend the subject combination that is most suitable for them in primary 5. Based on your child's MTL results, these subjects may include higher mother tongue language. HMTL is an optional subject, so the Ministry of Education aims to help students with the ability and interest in MTL to achieve higher levels of proficiency and cultural knowledge. So if a student has got band 1 for all subjects, he or she will be recommended for HMTL. Do note that students who do HMTL will be taking 5 subjects instead of 4. Therefore, they are expected to be very competent in all the subjects to do well at primary 5. So at the end of primary 5, students who have achieved a band 1 or band 2 for MTL, mother tongue language, and pass higher mother tongue language can continue to take the subject at primary 6 if they wish to do so. Okay, I'll now move on to frequently asked questions about subject-based spending. Okay, first question. If my child scores band 1 for mother tongue language, but band 2 for all other subjects, should I opt for higher mother tongue? Okay, let's consider this. Assuming that the child scores band 1 for mother tongue language and he or she scores the higher range of band 2 for the other subjects, his results might look like something that has been illustrated on the right-hand side. So on the left, you can see the achievement bands for primary 4. Okay, so let's help the child to think in the long term. We'll calculate these results in terms of AL scoring and see if it's worthwhile to take another subject or should he focus on doing better in all subjects. Okay, now we can see that scoring 85 marks in primary 4 is a band 1, but when you map it onto the AL scoring at primary 5 and PSLE, it translates to AL2. And band 2s for the other subjects translate to AL3. When we add up the AL scores, it gives a total of 11 points, AL11. If your child chooses not to take higher mother tongue and score better than the current result with a lower AL, it will definitely give your child a more competitive edge to his choices of secondary school. So do consider your child's overall performance and his or her ability to take higher mother tongue language before opting for the subject. Your child is encouraged to take higher mother tongue if he or she is very strong in the mother tongue language, and this additional subject should not affect their performance in the other subjects. Okay, another frequently asked question: is taking higher Chinese language an advantage for my child to have a better chance at getting into the secondary school that he or she wants? Okay, let's look at the score here. So let's say we have 6 students. Okay, the first one with no higher Chinese language, but AL7. Okay, second one, third, fourth, fifth, all these students are getting the same AL score, okay, AL8. But with the second student has 8 distinction for higher mother tongue, followed by the next one with merit, pass. Okay, the fifth student does not have HCL. Okay, and then the last one scoring a distinction for higher Chinese, but AL9. So this is the posting advantage. The posting advantage applies to posting only to SAP schools, okay, SAP secondary schools, and students with better PSLE score will be posted first, even if they do not take higher Chinese language. So among students with the same PSLE score, like the ones that we have seen just now, like the second, third, fourth, and fifth student, those with the better, higher Chinese language grades will be posted into a SAP school. Okay, next question. I feel that my child is very weak in mathematics. He or she scored only 25 marks in primary 4. So should I opt for foundation mathematics? So this is another common question that we have heard from parents. Okay, let's consider this. Okay, assuming that the child scores a band 4 for mathematics and pass the other subjects, his results might look like something like what has been illustrated on the right-hand side. So you can see English 70 band 2, mother tongue 84 band 2, math 25 band 4, science 69 band 3. Okay. Similarly, let's help the child to think in the long term. We'll calculate these results in terms of AL scoring. Okay, and see if it's worthwhile to opt for foundation mathematics or to work harder on improving the math at the standard level. Okay, so with mathematics at 25 marks, it translates to a low AL7 at PSLE. So for P4 subject-based banding, we usually offer foundation stream to students who are likely to get a U grade, which is low AL7 and AL8. Subject teachers will also make recommendations based on students' learning disposition. The teacher can recommend their student to continue with standard math should they see that the child has usually performed well in their daily work. However, some students who take foundation mathematics could have a better chance of getting a better score than AL7 if they put in effort. Okay, so this is the another frequently asked question on the foundation level subject grades. So here's a heads up on how PSLE results will look like for foundation subject. So do note that the foundation subject grade scoring is slightly different. So you can compare, okay, the one that's on the right, the chart there, AL1 to 8 is our standard subject AL score for PSLE. So the one on the left is the one for foundation level. So if your child is taking foundation subject, that subject will be graded ALA to ALC. So ALA to ALC will then be mapped onto a standard level subject to derive a student's overall PSLE score. The mapping is on the learning and assessment load of the subjects and informs students of their readiness to assess the curriculum at the secondary school level. You'll be informed of the details at P5 briefing next year. All right, I've come to the end of my briefing, and we'll be able to proceed to meet the form and co-form teachers slightly earlier.
All right, let me introduce you to the 3 diligence form teacher. Of course, you have seen me. I'm Madam Fiza. I'm teaching your child English and FPGP. I have Madam Ng Yet Ling next to me, and she's teaching math, social studies, and also FPGP. And also, you've heard Miss Ho earlier on. She is also our co-form teacher, and she's teaching FPGP as well. These are the 3 diligent subject teachers. So you can see Miss Vino on the far left of your screen, followed by Madam Susanna for PE, Miss Chok for art, Mrs. Fu for music, Miss Manu for Tamil, Madam Hafiza, who is also sharing the same name as I am. She's teaching Malay, and Ridwan teaching Malay as well. Madam Tong for Chinese, Sir Darren Yeo for Chinese, Miss Younger, Mr. Ngan, Miss Lien Yiling, and also Miss Ng. Yeah. Okay, so let me introduce you the modes of communication for our class. You can reach us out at our email address, and if you don't know our email addresses, it's actually reflected on our school website. If you really have urgent matters that you need to reach us out, you can actually DM us at the class dojo. We are always open to communication via the class dojo app. Another way would be via the student handbook, but this mode of communication is usually more for homework method. And also, if you really need to urgently look for us in case we miss out your class dojo, and it's very important, you can call the general office to look for us as well. Okay, so let me just share with you a few photos of our class experiences we have for term 1 so far. And all these photos are not very familiar to you because I have actually uploaded these photos on our Class Dojo app. So I'm actually very happy to share all these photos with parents. We'll be taking more photos of your child, your students in action during events like Chinese New Year events, the festival events, and other class or school events. So if you can see on the left side, that's our gratitude board for this term because they are learning about themselves, they're learning about their classmates. So we got them to draw their self-portrait and to tell us a little bit more about themselves. And the one on the right, it is actually a very popular spot in the class. It is actually our classroom library. It's not 100% done up yet because I have yet to paste the poster, but I have actually opened the space for students to use to do their silent reading in the morning, and it's always usually the very popular and crowded spot in the classroom. So so far the kids have enjoyed this classroom library in the class. Yeah. Okay, I'll give you my time to Madam Ng. She will take you through the next few slides. Madam Ng, please.
Yes, good afternoon, parents.
Let me just.
Okay, I hope you can hear me. Right. From Mondays to Wednesdays, the children report to the 3D classroom on the 3rd floor by 7:15 a.m. That's when they take out their storybooks and they start their silent reading. Then on Thursdays and Fridays, they report to the hall at 7:15 a.m. Now, I know that sometimes there's a little bit of a difficulty with a lot of traffic turning into school. So for those who drive in, it is actually wiser to leave a little earlier and to exit the school. There are 2 exits out of our school car park. Once you get out to the HDB car parks, there is another exit that is closer to the MRT station that you can drive out of to avoid jamming up the road. And it is important that they arrive on time so that they have time to settle themselves down and to take out a book and to develop a good reading habit. It is very, very useful for them to see their classmates. Everyone has the same attitude, diligently reading and learning new words from their storybook, compared to if they rush in and they feel a bit uncertain because they came in late and they have to stand outside the hall when the anthem is being sung. So it's a good thing to come on time. So the flag raising and pledge taking ceremony begins at 7:30 a.m. So we hope that your child will be ready to join us for silent reading at 7:15 a.m. All right. For the culture of care, it's important that a regular bedtime is imposed for your children. We have some of the kids telling us, I sleep at 11, I sleep at 12. Sometimes I play my game until, and I'm not sure whether they are exaggerating or not because I'm asleep by then. So sometimes they do come to class very sleepy. And the first lesson is at 7:30, but I think they are still half asleep. So for children of this age 8 going on to 9, it's actually important for them to have enough sleep. So maybe if you can calculate what is the wake up time for your child and come backwards, they should try to aim for 8 hours of sleep. Then they're really, really refreshed and ready to absorb the next day's learning. So sometimes if they are on the devices right up to the last minute, they can be so excited that it's very impossible to sleep. So maybe some quiet reading before they sleep might put them in a better mood to relax and get ready for bed. Okay, now coming to packing their bags. Sometimes the children come to school, teacher, I did my homework. I left it at home. It happens. So if it keeps recurring, it means that your child doesn't really pack his or her own school bag. So we gave copies of the timetable, one to paste in the handbook and one to put on the fridge. We actually gave 2 copies of the timetable so that your child has a timetable at home also to help them to see what they have to pack for the next day and also how to get ready and be prepared. So it's actually a good thing for them to learn to pack it themselves because sometimes you may not know what they have to bring. So maybe it's a good thing to have a checklist together to get ready for school. Also, they are now in primary 3. There is a section on the whiteboard in class where we tell them, this is your homework for tomorrow. And actually, they should have a homework file. So they will bring their homework back in their school bags. It's in their school bags. So actually, if you want to know whether they have homework, if you open their school bag, you will find inside that, this worksheet is blank. Why is it blank? Actually, it's homework. So they may not write it down in their handbook, even though we tell them. But at primary 3, we don't check one by one whether they wrote their homework in their handbook. But they will bring the worksheet back most of the time because teacher says, please put it in your school bag now. So this homework file is important because some children don't have a homework file. They cram it into their school bag. Then after that, when teacher says, okay, pack up, it's time to go home, they crush every book inside and that piece of homework from an A4 paper becomes a A5 paper. It's a bit folded and crumpled. By the time they go home, sometimes it's torn. And then we take Scotch tape and patch back for them. So I've been doing that a lot. So it's good for them to have a homework file. And then their papers can be well packed and it's easy to take out and put back in to bring back the next day. So for their timetable, as I said, I think by now most of them have memorized. It doesn't change. So it should be every day there's maths, every day there's English, every day there's mother tongue. It's only PE that's on different days. So most of the time, these 3 things should be brought to school. So for silent reading, they should have a book in the bag, though we do allow them to go to the reading corner to take. It's nice to have their own book that they follow chapter by chapter. Then they can count off how many books they read in a year. Some children target 100 books. Some children target 50 books. It could be a different target for your child. So it's good to let them have book to read, and then maybe when they finish, you can ask them, tell me about the story, and then give them a small reward for it. They'll encourage a reading habit. Continuing in the culture of care, this medical certificate is very important, especially now that the WA is coming up, the weighted assessment. If your child does not have a medical certificate and misses the weighted assessment, it is considered 0 because there is no valid reason. We cannot accept for a test, we cannot accept parent letter or phone call. Okay, so we actually need to see a doctor's medical certificate for the exam. Also, health concerns. If you feel that there are certain things that we should be alert, though you have already filled out the student detail form, that's very important, and they have highlighted it there. In case something else develops, for example, the other day I noticed one of the students had a bandage around the arm, and I was concerned because the parent did not indicate to me. So I asked the child, what has happened? She said, I have some scratch on my hand. I said, does it stop you from doing PE? Are you okay? So I told her, if it is painful, please tell your PE teacher and don't do PE. So these kinds of things, if you write it in the handbook, it really helps us to be extra alert for your child's safety. Sometimes I notice them limping. Today a girl told me, my leg is very painful. What happened? Yesterday at home I fell down. So if there's any concern, please let us know. You can dojo or you can write in the handbook. We will take notice and help to protect your child. Okay, dietary requirements. We feel that for snacks, some children are eating a lot of packet food that is high in salt and sodium. So maybe can take a look at actually the contents of the package, whether it is all right for your child to have so much of it or too much sugar. Too much salt and sugar is not good. Actually, we also have on our school website things that are suitable like fruits, dried fruits as well, nuts, which are very healthy. Okay, for dismissal arrangement, Madam Fiza has posted on our dojo all the days of the English enrichment that has started, also the CCA days. So you should bear in mind which day your child is staying back and which day your child is not, and make the necessary dismissal arrangement. And if there's any change in arrangement that you need to inform us at the last minute, it has happened before, just call the school will pass a message to us, and we will tell your child, oh, today your grandfather is fetching you instead, okay? So do let us know if there are any dismissal arrangements that need to be changed. You can also dojo us. So enrichment programs and CCA is in the afternoon, so they need to have another meal. So on days that they have to stay back, you can always pack a lunch. If you want to pass it through the gate, at the gate, your child can go to the gate and pick the food up. But if your child is buying food from the canteen, of course, they will have to have a little bit of extra money. And there have been occasions when the child has forgotten either to bring the food or the money. Don't worry, we will pass them some money. Yeah, we are the other mommy in school. They are like our own children. So yes, it does happen, so don't worry too much about it. Is this me still? Okay, so for the snack break, some children have also come with chopsticks, fork and spoon. Actually, we consider a snack something like a sandwich, a finger food. If they have to take the chopstick out and start the noodles all over the place and the rice spill everywhere, that is more like a meal. So a snack would be considered something that is handy, easy to reach for. Easy to eat, doesn't leave a mess, not oily, does not have soup or gravy, and does not spill on their table, so that they can finish it in about 10 minutes. Okay, so this we understand is to help them to boost their energy after recess at 9:30 to 10. They're hungry again by the time 12 o'clock comes, and of course we want to give them a snack. But we notice some children come without snacks. That's fine if your child is used to it, but I will tell you that your child is looking at maybe 30 other children snacking. And we actually don't encourage sharing of snacks because we pass germs on when we are handing out food, one hand to another hand in the children's snack box. So that's why we don't encourage, because we may pass on germs. So it's fine. It can just be a drink, a Milo, a packet drink. That's also considered a snack, a fruit, an apple, okay? And I noticed that some children bring so much snacks, it looks like it's enough for 3 people. So not necessary, just enough for something to eat for 10 minutes, okay? And if you don't agree with having a snack because you feel that your child is getting enough nourishment, that is fine. It's okay. Snack break does happen during lessons. The teacher will use a timely moment to let it happen, anywhere from 12 to 12:10. I know that it does happen. You will hear reports from your children, oh, my snack time was late today. Yes, sometimes because the teacher is arranging a practice, a time practice, so that snack time was delayed. But don't worry, the next period teacher will give your child a snack break. We let them, and it's okay. We understand that during that time when your child is having one hand on the snack, their attention is mostly on their food. We will carry out something that is not so serious, like maybe showing them the PowerPoint at a time, not that they're actually having to be tested during that time, okay? So yes, it does happen during lessons. They do not leave the classroom. They don't go to the canteen, and they do have access to their water bottles. So here are some nice examples. Yogurt is possible, dried nuts and fruits, cookies, cheese, okay, cubed cheese, fruits, even cherry tomatoes. I've seen children actually bring it, even avocados. Yes, some parents are very, very healthy, health conscious. And I really admire the effort that some of you parents put into your snacks. I've seen such cute rolled up sandwiches, how much care you have put into them. And I really envy your child for having such a good parent to prepare the snack for them. They are so fortunate to have you. All right, so now Madam Fiza will continue with the briefing.
All right, next I'm going to share with you tips on what you can do to improvise your child's subject, okay, especially for English. I would suggest the child to read more. And also when the child reads more, try to get materials that are older than their age, which means to say, don't just read in terms of suitable for P1, P2, but try to read books for maybe P3, P4, so that he will be exposed to more vocabulary. So not only that, but do encourage your child to read different kinds of book, a wide variety, like fiction, non-fiction book, newspaper article. If you have subscribed to the newspapers, or even your newspapers online, okay, do encourage your child to be exposed to the news around the world, so that your child is able to know what's happening in the world, and also be exposed to the vocabulary. Yeah, so for English, although I do give homework once in a while, but I would strongly suggest your child to read up more, because the more they read, the more they are exposed to these kinds of grammar, these kinds of words, and also vocabulary. Yeah, so that's for English. All right, for mother tongue, also something similar like English, but perhaps because they're not exposed to mother tongue languages in terms of books, maybe they prefer to read English books rather than mother tongue books. Maybe perhaps you could get your child to speak in mother tongue language instead, or get your child to sit down with you to watch news in the mother tongue language, so that your child, again, exposed to the world affairs, and also at the same time get to learn about, the mother tongue language itself. So try to have conversations, not just English in English, but also in your mother tongue language as well. So that's for mother tongue. And for science, try to ask open-ended questions and watch those science-related videos. I think there's a lot of variety on YouTube right now. So try to encourage your child to question, to do research. You know, sometimes your child asks you, "Oh, mommy, daddy, why does this happen?" or why do that happen? So get your child to be inquisitive. You know, be very curious about the things around them and make them research on their own, you know, answer their questions on their own back, you know, rather than you providing answers, you know, get them to be independent learners and self-directed learners. So in terms of concepts, maybe perhaps get them to revise, especially after their science lessons daily, get them to talk about what they've learned during science. And because science is a new subject that they learn in P3, so it is very, very new to them. So they may need some time to adapt. So you may want to ask questions about their science lesson. All right. For mathematics, I think this one, everyone would know that practice makes perfect. So whatever homework that Madam Ng issues to your child, get your child to do it independently, get him or her to revise concepts, do a lot of practice, do a lot of memorization, especially for multiplication facts, practice those long division algorithms, and especially for this, use model drawing, because I think this is something very, very new to them, especially in P3 math, where they are introduced to model drawing, and this model drawings technique, I would say, is actually ongoing from P3 all the way to P6. Yeah.
I would like to say that we are still carrying on teaching, and as you can see from the dates released on Dojo, that the Maths WA is in March. So we still have some time to go and some more practice to do. And model drawing, they learned in primary 2, the Patbo model. I will be going on to coach them. Don't worry. We will get there. And I have, through my experience, found that most of the time, our children need a longer runway. They may not be there at the first WA, meaning that it's the first time that they are doing something like this. They may not do as well as you expect, but don't worry, we'll get there. And I find that many of my primary 4 students, before they stream into their classes, they also have to go through a journey. And by the time term 3 comes, they're more ready. Term 1 and 2, they're learning a lot of new things. So for them, it may be a little bit of a steep learning curve. But as I said, don't worry, we will get your child there. And we will do it together. Right now, you have their maths file. You can actually see where their mistakes are. Why don't you cover the correction and get them to try it again? Did they learn? See, that's why I send the maths file home, so you can see where they are. Okay, that's all.
Okay, thank you, Madam Ng. That reminds me, I got your child to bring home their English file today with the Stella Units 1, 2, and also the vocabulary worksheet. So next week onwards, I will try to return most of their English worksheets back, and you should be able to see what they've been doing in class. Yeah. Okay. All right, so I think we have come to the end of our slide. If you have any questions, you may wish to stay back and have a chat with us. If not, you are free to leave the room. Thank you for your time again, and we hope to communicate with you as often as we could.